Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Oh, dude, I'm fucking so excited to tell you this one part, but I'll get to that in a second. So they say they pass through the veil, right? And they're able to make it flexible. And he hadn't heard of Missing 411, the David Paulides stuff before this, but his friend, after he was telling him about this, was like, holy shit, dude, this sounds like... Because he describes them being able to pop into our reality, grab someone, and take them wherever, and all of a sudden they wind up, miles away somewhere else. Or he can make them... They can make these people disappear, and then this area is searched over and over again, and then drop them back in that area again. And with the place where they searched again and again, they'll find them all of a sudden. And they're what the fuck, So that's what he's saying, like, this is all related.
The cloaked predator being isn't associated with a lot of Missing 411 cases, but it really does cover all the bases. Like, if there's one thing that could tie all the Missing 411 characteristics together, it is an interdimensional being suddenly ripping you out of a dimension.
Yeah.
Right. So that just makes you understand like where your fear is coming from. If you can control your own fear, you actually have better survival.
True. Yeah. Well, actually,
keep your vibration high. Holy
funny
shit.
you say that, because that plays into this as well, right?
Okay.
So get this. All right. So they tell him he's a dead man. We're telling you this because we're about to fucking kill you. Right? So how does he get out of this? And I was like, how are you telling the story if these things are like all powerful and they're about to kill you? Here's the really strange part. I mean, more strange. So he's sitting in this chair, locked into place by these hands on his shoulders, staring at this raging fire and being like fed all this information. All of a sudden, that snap sound that happens in fires, like something crackle, all of a sudden the wood pops. Yeah. That kind of sound. He said that happens, but it's so fucking loud all of a sudden, it's like a shotgun just rattling around in his brain. It is just like, boom, like snap in this fire. It's super loud. And it sends him and apparently these beings into shock, and it wakes him out of his trance. And he said during that time, this window opens where he, not like literally, but a window of opportunity opens where all of a sudden he has use of his faculties. All of a sudden he's out of this trance, and he's feeling like his hands are no longer on him. After this big snap, he hears another voice in his head that is not these things tell him to run.
Ooh, interesting.
Wow.
From something else, telling him, this is your chance, fucking run. So he gets up, jumps to his feet, and then he said, like, I'm a 65-year-old man, I got bad knees, I sprinted like a fucking, like Usain Bolt across from the fire into the cabin. Opens the cabin door, slams it shut, locks it. How does he get out of it now?
Yeah, seriously, they can just go through the cabin door.
Yeah, there's no hiding.
So get this. This is what I'm saying. So he says, during this point where he was like terrified, he reaches out to the higher power, and he believes that that's who saved him. Obviously, is like God like stepped in. But we hear this all the time, right? Of like aliens, whatever, of calling upon some sort of higher power that breaks you out of that fear. Right? That locks you in place. You're no longer feeling that fear because you put your trust in some other sort of higher power of some kind. And these things and you can like get rid of these things. A lot of people have described it in alien abductions and all sorts of things, right? Of having this ability. Yeah. So he gets into his cabin, shuts the door, locks it. Now, all of these fucking voices are in his head, furious, just screaming and shouting at him. Open the door, let us over the threshold.
Ooh, that's vampire.
They can't come inside unless he invites them in.
What?
Oh, wait. Okay, well, hold on a second. This is mixing like every mythology possible.
Right?
What?
I said strap in.
Is Loch Ness Monster going to make an appearance in this? What's coming next?
Is there a fucking lake somewhere? Okay, all right.
So these things are screaming at him. Let us in. Let us in. Over the threshold, let us in. Open the door. We want to come in. And these things are fucking furious that they lost their prey, right? They're just screaming at him. And he says during this time, he believes they were trying to kill him. He had like a bad heart. and he says they have the ability. They can get inside your head. They know what your weakness is, and they were slowly trying to do something to his heart, fuck with his heart. And he says after this, he had all these health problems with his heart, right? So as they're holding him, he believes they were trying to take something from him. He had this idea that they were trying to take something from him, that feeding off fear, maybe, that whole idea. But they were also trying to put something into him to kill him. And this is how they said they will use these means to kill someone. They can cause a car accident. They can, if you have like cancerous cells in your body, they can like aggressively accelerate that cancer and you'll die within a month or two. They do all these things to try and kill you, so it doesn't look like some like crazy creature just tore you apart. You just died of a heart attack. He even references
this is very demonic.
Some
this
other
is all like demon activity.
Yeah, this is very demonic,
isn't it?
Demonic, reptilian, Bigfoot,
it's everything.
Predator.
It's got everything in one. He even says they told him, some guy he was in contact with, he said he didn't really like this guy too much, but another Sasquatch guy, his name is Tim Fasano. I guess he was another big name, but the rumors were that this guy was going around, like the rumors that this guy, he actually died, and they said that he died in a forest, but his brother said he actually died in his home from a heart attack. And they specifically told him that they killed him, that he was one of their prey. Because he knew this guy. Ooh. So anyway, he's inside, these voices are screaming inside of his head. The only way, and this is like, I had an affinity for the guy after this, but he was like, the only way I could stop these voices in my head, I had a bottle of whiskey in my bag, because he was like, I don't really drink that much, but you're at the cabin, you have a little snifter or something by the campfire. It's fucking great fun. But he just started chugging this bottle.
I hope it wasn't whiskey liqueur, because he's fucked.
Oh, dude, you'd be throwing up before you got halfway through the bottle. But he smashed this bottle of whiskey down to the point where he passed out, and that was the only way he could get rid of these screaming voices in his head.
Oh wow.
And then, so he wakes up the next morning, and he's a fucking mess, obviously. Like, he's hungover as fuck, and he's still in shock. And he's still in shock to the point where he picked up his phone, and he couldn't remember how to use it. He said he was so scatterbrained and in shock, obviously, after all this happened. He couldn't figure out how to use a phone. He was just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And so he had to basically wait another day, I think, till his friend, because I guess he doesn't drive, so his friend dropped him off at the cabin, and his friend was going to come pick him up again. He had to wait till his friend came. Did not leave the cabin.
He just stayed at the cabin another night? Are you out of your mind? No way.
Yeah. And he had to wait till his friend came and pick him up, and he didn't leave the cabin the whole time. He just ate beans or whatever, I don't know.
And then what, pooped in the corner?
Beans are good. High fiber.
Oh my God. What?
So anyway, his buddy came and picked him up, and he was so, like, glad to see him. And he, like, hugged his buddy, and his buddy's like, whoa, what the fuck happened, dude?
Yeah, whoa, dude. Are you aroused?
And yeah.
What, Josh?
But yeah, he was...
Hold me in your arms.
It took him a while to kind of, he said, to get his marbles back together. And it was this point where he started, like, coming down with something, and he was, like, short of breath, and he felt like he was, like, constantly tired and couldn't get out of bed, and was just having a horrible time. And I was like, dude, you got the COVIDs is what happened. This thing gave you the COVIDs. But no, it turns out he went to go checked out, and he had, like, a huge blockage in his heart all of a sudden that they said hit him around they said it's been there for about the same time as when he was in the cabin after he, like, had all these tests.
Wow.
Right? And they gave him a stint in his heart afterwards too, to fix him up. But he said, man, these things were trying to kill me with a heart attack, he believes. So This is what he left us with. He said he kept remembering bits and pieces afterwards, after, his mind kind of settled down a little bit and he was getting through the trauma of it all. And this is what one of the most important things he said they relayed to him. And when referring to the forest and the area of planet Earth, that, all these forested areas and basically the Earth itself, I think he was saying, this is what they said to him. This place is ours. It was given to us. It was given to us. Like, he doesn't say from who, but it was given to us, and we can take from it whatever's in it because it's ours. So whatever like finds its way into our forest, it belongs to us now. Like, referring to the humans, right? These masters.
Huh.
So they basically said, they were given permission to hunt on this planet, in this realm, basically. So
that's spooky interdimensional weirdness. That means
Wow.
there's even greater races and more things involved. Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going to say we could just keep this podcast going and talk about like all interdimensional war and draconians and reptilians. Yeah. We could talk about the idea that there's two different races of giants that came on this planet a long time ago. The ones that want to eat people and the ones that want to protect and give wisdom. And we could go on forever, but we don't have enough time.
We don't.
We ran out of whiskey liqueur. So here's the thing. There are things, according to the study at the beginning of this podcast, that you probably can't see. You don't even have to go out into the forest and go hunt them. They're probably watching you. And if you don't want to be prey, watch the thoughts in your head. Because if you get into a fear-based mode because you're scared to go outside because there's fucking COVIDs, I'm telling you, they're going to fucking
stay in the cabin. Don't leave the cabin.
Don't let them in the house.
Don't live in fear.
And we hope that we gave you a little bit of fun tonight. Hope you can sleep. All right, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.